Great that I actually looked. Let's not start the show for 2 seconds because my Audacity crashed. Just stop recording. But I'm glad that I looked now. That was lucky. It was good timing.
Hey, Honey Wins 05. We are just getting started. Hello, everyone on Blab, as well as on YouTube. We're going to be posting this on YouTube as soon as we're done with the conversation. Honey, all right, my bad. The text is really tiny, and I can't always see it. So, and I'm terrible with names. So,
yes, honey, we are talking WWE. Yeah,
that is correct. So, we are recording a podcast. Everyone good to go?
Yeah, let's do it.
Wonderful.
You can find the podcast at fanstalkpodcast.com. There's actually a full assortment of different shows that we do, but this one in particular is called Fans Talk Pro Wrestling. Okay. From the Fans Talk Podcast family at fanstalkpodcast.com, this is episode 289 of Fans Talk Pro Wrestling. It was recorded on Tuesday, October 27th, 2015. My name is Garvin, and with us tonight is Nick. Say hello, Nick.
You can't see this, but I'm holding up my unicorn horn proudly as I record.
And Sean. Say hello, Sean.
G'day, mate.
On this episode, we're going to recap and review WWE Hell in a Cell 2015 and how WWE has jump-started the road to WWE Survivor Series. Quick shout-outs to everyone who watched Hell in a Cell with us over in the Squared Circle of Trust live chat last night. Well, not last night. I'm sorry, Sunday night. Beanbags, Diva Jill, Sean, Nick, and I were all there. Had a good time. I think Renee popped in for a little bit. But yeah, it was great to talk to everyone. And, you know, it's always fun to watch a pay-per-view with friends. So thank you for joining. And before we start tonight's conversation, we need to take a moment to acknowledge just the great support that we've received by you so far, as well as the other members of the Squared Circle of Trust. Because of your help, you know, we're able to really afford doing this podcast, doing the entire podcast set of series that we do over at fanstalkpodcast.com. If you haven't subscribed yet, if you haven't donated yet, definitely check it out for as little as $1 a month. You too can help us keep everything running as smoothly as it is. You can head on over to fanstalkpodcast.com right now, click the big green button, and subscribe today. If you pledge $3 a month or more, you get access to those live chats that I just talked about over on our Slack community. And if you want some bonus content every month, you can pledge $5 a month or more. We put a little bonus episode every week or so, every other week, just for Squared Circle of Trust members. So definitely check it out. Patreon.com/fans talk. All right, guys. WWE Hell in a Cell. It happened this weekend. We all watched together. It was a very fun time. Lots of mixed reviews as far as the internet goes, as it usually was. But I think, you know, the one thing I walked away from the Slack chat was that we were all pretty much unanimous that it was a pretty good pay-per-view.
I think the main thing to go, okay, yes, it was a good pay-per-view, was that it wasn't comparable to a good Raw. You could sort of tell it was like a pay-per-view, had that feel to it, where sometimes it just feels like it's, you know, just a decent Raw. So, yeah, it was good. Was moments where I was, you know, lost a little bit of interest. Right back. And, yeah, it's, you know, it was generally fairly good. I thought the last match was really good for the standard I was expecting. And I still stand by what I thought last week with what would be the match of the night. So, but yeah, no, good.
It was definitely decent. I didn't go back and watch the kickoff match, but I did hear good things. I think a little bit of that perception is just because of how bad Raw has been lately. Where, you know, Hell in a Cell was actually pretty decent. So, you know, it's pretty good in comparison. I did notice that the matches on this card were kind of botch heavy. Coming to mind right away is that spot in the tag team title match where the Dudleys just, I don't know what they're going for with that side slam, leg drop, whatever on Kofi, but
leg scissor. Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah. Overall, I think the matches delivered. And yeah, the main event was pretty good. I think I would have enjoyed that finish more if I hadn't already seen so much of the ring destruction in TNA. But, it's still a pretty good spot. Lesnar's weapon being used against him and all that. So, yeah, still pretty good.
Yeah, for those who don't watch TNA and don't remember us raving about the spot you're talking about, it's the fact that you had Bully Ray. It was Bully Ray versus Sting, and Bully Ray he basically cut the ropes that were keeping the mat down to uncover the wood plates on the side, and then pile drive Sting on it. So, yeah, I'm with you. Once you saw that, and just the awesomeness that was, it was hard to look at this the same way, just because they really didn't use it a whole lot. When they were landing on the side of it or in front of it. So it could have been used a lot better, but I totally understand why they would kind of try and steer away from it and just try and show that they were, that serious about it.
Yeah.
Okay, going to make a quick edit note, Sean. Sean just dropped again. I'm not hearing his audio at all.
Yeah, me neither.
We'll give him a quick second. All right, so Sean will be joining us momentarily. But anyways, yeah, I think for me, it was a good event. It was entertaining from start to finish. Sure, it wasn't what we were probably hoping for as far as overall quality, or at least individual things that took place could have been done a little bit better. I mean, there, like you said, Nick, there was some points of different matches that were a little not clean, but at the same time, It was easy to ignore it. It was easy to ignore those mess ups, just because you did have those great matches like Undertaker versus Lesnar, the ADR return. I mean, there were highlights that were big enough to overshadow the small little things.
For sure. I think the Divas match had more than its fair share of problems, but we can get to that as we go over each match individually.
Sure. Well, before we do that, let's go ahead, be internet smarks, and talk about the worst thing that happened at Hell in a Cell. What was by far for you the most disappointing thing that happened, or at least the worst thing that happened for you?
I don't know. I didn't really feel disappointed by anything. The closest I could probably come to this is the fact that they had to have Kane versus Rollins the way they did. Namely that Corporate Kane would be gone if he lost, which he 100% positively certainly had to. And I think maybe there would have been a better way to build Kane versus Rollins so that it actually mattered more. It actually felt bigger. Maybe if Lesnar versus Taker hadn't been the focus all along, maybe they could have given that more attention, given that more build. But
or having Kane on the Go Home show in the Raw, he wasn't even on,
Yeah. If you watch the SmackDown after that, Kane figured pretty heavily. And I enjoyed that. In fact, I enjoyed that SmackDown. I'm probably going to have to watch more of those because that really felt like a good go-home show before Hell in a Cell. So maybe they're kind of transferring that role to SmackDown. I don't know. But, yeah, that's the closest thing I could call a disappointment, and it still wound up being a pretty decent match.
What about you, Sean? What was the most disappointing thing that happened?
Some strange things happening. Having the really awesome open to the show with John Cena, and it was just the order of things I thought was disappointing. It wasn't, your typical generic thing. So, you have a great opening with Del Rio and Zeb Coulter, which doesn't make sense, which is great. And then you go straight into a Hell in a Cell. Okay, I can deal with it. Let's just go with it. I get they have to space it out. Then you have the tag team titles straight away after, which is fine, apart from the fact that the Dudley's big thing is tables, and they just used the hell out of heaps of tables in the Hell in a Cell just before. Just they're both fine, and they both had their merits for the matches, and they were great spots. But we didn't see a table go on a pay-per-view, which is what people want to see. You didn't get to see it from the Dudleys. You didn't. So it's just strange. It didn't make too much sense.
We didn't even see it in Kane versus Rollins, and they actually went for that spot.
I thought he was out because he was doing the whole hand signal thing, but I think that was I'm okay. But at least I know there's a signal that's still used. But it didn't look like he landed well. It didn't look good.
Yeah.
For me, the most disappointing, and I know you guys gave me shit for this, just the fact that I was looking forward and expecting Ryback versus Kevin Owens to be the match of the night. The fact that they got 5 minutes, it was that to me was the major disappointment, because that was a match that I had built up for myself, that just the way they handled it just didn't wasn't even close to anything. So yeah, I was.
If you're on Blab, guys, and you guys on Mixler, I've got the biggest smug face right now, because last week all I was saying was how silly Garvin is for going, this is going to be the batch of the night. I'm sorry, but everything that Ryback does turns to poo.
But if you look at what they did, the last match that they had, as far as that last pay-per-view match, it was good.
Ish. There's only so much Kevin Owens can do to make Ryback look good. And Ryback will eventually shine through with his energy and his eating and his hungriness. And I'm sorry, no. It was just... it was a great filler. I had a great cigarette during that match, and I went back and watched it later. It was good for that purpose.
Yeah, I mean, the IC title is the bottom of the heap now. Now that you've got the Open Challenge and the U.S. title's been elevated as highly as it has, and even transferring it to Del Rio, that's not exactly a step down. It's a big return. I don't think he ever held a mid-card belt during his first run in the WWE. I can't remember if he did.
He was Intercontinental champion, if you want to call that a mid-card.
Yeah, I would. But yeah, he was just pushed so hard for so long. And for Cena to drop it to him, that's still kind of a big deal. So, yeah, 5 minutes for Kevin Owens' match kind of sucks. But,
yeah,
I think they can get serious with elevating the Intercontinental title now, though. I think that's the plan for them. They're going to elevate each title. So I think with Kevin Owens, especially watching what happened last night on Raw and how well he performed, they'll just elevate the Intercontinental thing for now. Try and actually get some relevance to the mid-card belts instead of it all just being about the World Heavyweight title, which is what Cena did. I think they'll do that again.
Yeah, quick correction. Alberto Del Rio did not hold the Intercontinental Championship. He was only a heavyweight champion and a WWE champion.
Oh, okay.
But and I mean if you look at what he achieved in WWE, I mean it's fantastic. He was a Money in the Bank winner. He won the Royal Rumble in 2011. So
yeah, the only 40-man one.
Yeah, so for him to go down to U.S. Championship, you know, I suppose it is sort of like a downgrade, but at the same time, because of the amount of TV time that they've given that title, it could actually be pretty good for him.
Exactly, yeah.
So, all right, well, let's go ahead and dive into the card. Dolph Ziggler, Cesaro, Neville defeated Rusev, Sheamus, and King Barrett. This was in the kickoff. I accidentally slept through the kickoff. So, Nick, you said you didn't watch it either. Sean, did you get a chance to watch it?
Yeah, I saw it. I watched pre-show all the way through till about the last hour, and then I had to go back at the end of the day and watch the last hour because of work. Yeah, I watched it, and it was the biggest Cesaro push in a match I've ever seen. It was great. The crowd were nuts for him. Had a really, really hot tag off Ziggler and did a million running uppercuts and went from corner to corner, then went outside and did corner of the outsides to the corner of the outsides. It was really cool. And then he did his Cesaro swing, which we haven't seen in a while, on King Barrett, which went for, I think, about 50 seconds. It went for an extremely long time.
Wow. We lost Sean again. So yeah, that was the kickoff match. Again, I have heard very good things about it. I unfortunately missed it. But yeah, I will say I do like the teaming of Rusev, Sheamus, and King Barrett. I know it seems like that they might be going in that direction moving forward, and that really excites me. I think that's a good partnership. You know, you've got you know, basically three foreigners. And they all are basically going for, you know, getting that respect back. You know, King Barrett, Sheamus, Rusev, they're all people that haven't really been in the spotlight that I think we all kind of expected, and, you know, realistically could handle. But I think if they continue to move forward with those three guys, that would be really cool. Nick, do you agree?
Yeah, it is interesting what they're doing with this. You're getting a number of bigger teams. You're getting trio-sized teams. You're getting stables with the Wyatts. It really does make you wonder if they're angling for a trios-like championship.
Ooh, that is an interesting idea, but you know. My only trouble with that is adding an additional title. You know, like what gets dropped. You know, we're talking about the IC has not been treated very well. Historically, the U.S. Championship is now being pushed like all hell. You've got the Tag Team Championships that is also seemingly getting a nice chunk of focus. So, you know, what gets lost? Can they add another title like that?
I think they can. It would give the New Day something to do, or something else to do. It would give Stardust and the Cosmic Wasteland something to do. Sheamus, Barrett, and Rusev don't really have anything going on right now, so instead of letting them languish in pointless six-man tag matches, have them angle for a title. I'm sure you could put together one or two other three-man groups just to serve as foils for the eventual champion.
Right. No, it's definitely a good idea. And you know, teaming guys up like this is cool because it unites people that should get more TV time. And it gets them all on TV at the same time. So I think it'll be a good move. All right, so we'll move forward to the actual pay-per-view. John Cena versus the mystery opponent. There was a lot of talk about Tyler Breeze, maybe Daniel Bryan. But we got Alberto Del Rio, probably the biggest or one of the biggest pops of the night. And just that surprise factor. I know it definitely caught me off guard. It caught me off guard when Zeb came out because I'm like, oh crap, we're getting, you know, like I love Zeb, and I love We the People, but Jack Swagger to be the guy to defeat John Cena was just, it was going to be too much for me. But Alberto Del Rio, though, I thought was a very good pick.
Yeah, the fact that they managed to keep that a secret is pretty impressive. They've been doing a fairly decent job at covering things up as of late. The Dudleys coming back, Bubba Ray coming back for the Rumble spot. Mm-hmm. Trying to think of what else. That's all I can think of right now. I know there's a couple others. Storm, kinda. When we first heard about it, or at least when I first heard about it, it was kind of a shock to know that he debuted at a set of tapings.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, kudos to those guys.
Yeah, you also got like Samoa Joe on that list.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Rhino making his return was really unexpected, but none of that I don't think lived up to this. I mean, this was just so absurd and like the last thing you would think would actually happen just because of how he left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of a testament to not really a testament, I guess. It's kind of a nice move because the rumors right now are that it took Vince calling and apologizing in order for this to happen.
Yeah.
So kind of the reverse of what usually happens. But then again, it like with San Martino and Warrior, it was bridges burned between Vince and those guys, and it wasn't really a bridge burned between Vince and Del Rio. But yeah, all in all, fortuitous circumstance.
Right.
Hello.
Howdy.
Hello.
Okay, sorry guys. My computer literally did the full power off crash of doom. It was scary. I thought my life was ending. Yeah, it was pretty traumatic. No, with Del Rio coming back and Zeb coming out, I literally was swearing at the TV. I was like, no, because I hadn't seen Zeb since Jack Swagger was last on Raw, which was during the Open Challenge when I think it was like the second week of the Open Challenge, 4 months ago. So I was scared. I was petrified. And what a troll. I think they planned on this. Like they sold it on different podcasts that it was going to be James Storm. They sold it on another podcast that it was going to be Samoa Joe. Tyler Breeze kind of fell into the background after his debut, and obviously he's going to be feuding with Ziggler. So Del Rio, awesome. Couldn't believe that he came back. I just thought with everything that happened, it was very much like a CM Punk thing. It's the odds of him coming back were very slim.
Yeah, and Sean, real quick, you had mentioned just the idea that you weren't really into the order. So like starting with this match and how things progressed. To me, though, I think this was a great move for WWE in the fact that they went with, a huge surprise to open up the show, especially with a guy like Alberto Del Rio, just to get people to tune in, just to people to get that free sign up.
Okay, but think about this. Okay, everyone likes to have a match on the pre-show. The pay-per-view only went for 2 hours and 42 minutes. They usually do a 3-hour pay-per-view. Why don't you put that 6-man in between the Cena match before the first Hell in a Cell? You break it up, you break the shock out, and you still get good workers who just performed on Raw anyway. It's still going to be a good match. It's a good filler. Get some time out there on a pay-per-view instead of on a pre-show. And you can still do a 15-minute great 6-man in comparison to what they do with the 10-minute ones on Raw. So I don't understand it. It was weird, especially when it went so, it was definitely a slow thing and a weird order. And it didn't make sense. Why? This is one of the shortest specials apart from NXT takeovers that they've done in ages.
I don't know. I feel like they've been cutting short for a while now, ending like 10 or 15 minutes early.
5-10 is usually what they do, but 20 minutes? That's huge. They pay for the pay-per-view satellite providers for 3 hours of pay-per-view time. So what? It just doesn't make sense. Why would you waste that much time?
Yeah, I think it's just a buffer period that I don't know what would happen if they happen to go over like they do with Raw on USA, but
Well, you can't.
yeah, I mean that. Yeah, I guess they probably just don't want to get cut off before they get out whatever plugs they're getting.
True. It's like, well, it's only happened once where they've actually got cut off the air, which was in WCW Halloween Havoc, which was amazing. The main event was starting. It was DDP versus Goldberg, and literally they were staring each other down, and then blank. It was awesome.
Nice.
But that was when WCW wasn't managed that well.
Okay. All right, so the next match was Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt in a Hell in a Cell match. Roman Reigns wins. What did you guys think of it, Sean?
Awesome. I think Bray really stepped up his work. I think when we were talking about this last week, how you need to get through Bray to get big. It's kind of like a rite of passage, and I totally believe that because look back 6 months ago, just after WrestleMania. It's just, yeah, he was so not over. Everyone was against it. He was forced down our throats, and now he's earned it. He's gone back. He's done a long feud, and yeah, awesome. I'm really happy with the match. I think Bray really shined through, and he does what really good talent do, which is make the other person look good. So yeah, I'm totally pro for it. I think best match of the night in my view. Great spots in it too.
I think I'm pretty much in line with you on that. I thought it was a little weird to have the first Hell in a Cell match like that close after the opening, but man, they did a good job with that match. Just going nuts with the tables and the kendo sticks. That was magnificent work by those two guys. Bray, I don't think he's been better. Reigns did very well for himself. It's a win-win for both guys.
Sitting down on a chair while beating someone with kendo sticks was just awesome. Mm-hmm. I thought that was fantastic. Just sit there and bang. And man, they were giving to each other. Like, as far as I know with kendo sticks, like when I was talking to people in wrestling, like it's just like getting hit with like really small strands of bamboo. Like it hurts a lot. It's like getting hit with a chair. It still hurts a lot. And they bashed each other.
Yeah, there's a reason caning is a big deal in Singapore. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah, if I understand the concept well enough, I think, they've got the slits in there between the bamboo things, but once it strikes something, it expands and then quickly snaps back, like pulling whatever hits with it. So skin, That's why you see the red marks because it's basically pinching the skin.
Oh, no, they did well, like the table spots, the spear into the table. I was really impressed with it. I thought best one Hell in a Cell we've seen in a little while. Not ever, just in a little while. I'm not going to say the best ever because it wasn't the best ever, but yeah. Happy. Definitely beat Ryback versus Kevin Owens.
True. And that match also was the longest of the night. It went a full 23 minutes. So
longer than Taker versus Lesnar.
Yeah, Taker versus Lesnar was the second longest. They went about 18 minutes. So yeah, it really shows that they gave them enough time to really tell the story that they wanted to tell. So I was a big fan of that match as well. Okay, following up with that, we've got the New Day versus the Dudley Boyz. Xavier Woods was not on location. He was injured. I think in real life he was getting married or something along those lines. But a tag team title match, the New Day retain. Are you happy that the Dudley Boyz didn't win?
Very much so. I imagine the Dudleys are going to get that win down the line. If they do, it would have to be at TLC, I imagine. But Reigns versus Wyatt was probably match of the night for me. This might have been my favorite match for entertainment value alone. Just the heel tactics that the New Day is engaging in, even without Xavier there to back him up. Like Kofi getting the trombone and then tossing it to Bubba and falling down like he'd been hit. I love that tactic. The only time I've ever seen better is when another TNA example, Bobby Roode and Austin Aries are just trying to out-heel each other so badly, and they both fake trash can hits, and the ref has no idea what's going on, and when he checks on one, the other sits up and just starts swearing at the other guy and just starts, you dirty son of... It was. I love that sort of tactic, and I love the way the New Day employs it. So, yeah, props to all four of those guys for making that match work as well as they did, botches aside.
No, it was that botch, because of what Kofi did with that spot, but because they're that entertaining, you're not going to remember that botch. It's just because we like to be fairly negative and really exploit the bad things that happen. So, doing the what's up, and when they do that on Big E and you see Bubba start gyrating and doing the dance and stuff, like that was really, really good.
Yeah.
It was just like those guys know how to entertain. The only problem is I think they're having a bit of trouble switching gears between, okay, we're going to be making awesome promos, we're going to be doing cool stuff, right, and now we need to be heels. Like, they're doing heel stuff, but it's just because it's so funny. I don't want to boo them. I want to cheer for them because they're being really funny. I think that's the really gray area because they want heels and they're not really getting it. So should you flip the coin? Send the Dudley boys heel, and then because the people are already behind the New Day anyway, turn them babyface and they can still make all their jokes and be really funny. I don't know.
I don't think you could do that now because the Dudleys are still riding that wave of nostalgia. But if the feud does happen to go till TLC, or even if they take a month off and then bring it back, you could have the Dudleys just sell the frustration to the degree that, it makes sense that they do something heinous and turn heel, and make that double turn happen. It's just right now there are big swaths of the audience that are just huge fans of both. So I think you'd have to have time for that nostalgia wave to cool down.
Right. Well, and it's also kind of like the DX syndrome. DX were heels at times, they were faces at times, but they never really lost that appeal to the crowd up until it was just a nostalgia thing when it was just Triple H and HBK. But so it's kind of like that weird spot. To me, as long as they're on TV, like I'm totally cool with whatever they do.
I think that's the thing. They're drawing money. They'll keep on keeping it as it is until it stops drawing money. And I don't think they need to even reinvent it. It should go to TLC, and it'll be a TLC match because they haven't done a big TLC tag match in a very long time. So who knows? By that time, we might actually see some returns. But there's been a lot of rumors going around about the Hardys potentially coming back, but I'll believe that when I see it. I thought they had a lot of but then again, I thought Del Rio would never go back. So who knows?
Yeah, and just like Blue is pointing out in the live chat, it's like what Kevin Owens is going through too, as far as being the heel, doing heel things, but still getting cheered. Can really WWE really force a heel to be a bad guy anymore? Because there is no black or white characters anymore. You've just got dudes that are doing dude things, and they're gonna try to piss off some people, but the faces do that too. So yeah, it's just a lot of gray areas all the time.
Oh, like I cheer for Rollins because I find him awesome. So, and yet he's absolutely pulling off the heel stuff really well. So yeah, no worries.
Yeah, me personally, I have always tried to, cheer the good guy and boo the baddie, just because that's my role as a member of the audience.
You kid.
Way to take a stand there. Jeez.
I really enjoy Rollins' work, and I think when he is just in super heel mode, I think he's magnificent. But with the face heel dynamic, I think that still exists, but you've got to commit to it. A lot of heels, they don't commit to it. They still try to get that face pop somehow. With the New Day, I'm not saying they're trying to get the face pop, not the way like the Authority do, but as long as you're embracing something inherently face-ish, like the power of positivity, it's gonna send kind of a mixed message. I think if they ever do drop that, you're gonna get some serious heel heat from those guys.
Yeah.
You know, all I think of with the power of positivity, I'm glad that that's not it. It's just, you know, clap therapy or all that sort of stuff. All I think of with power of positivity is people power. That's what my mind association goes to. So
that's Mix America's thing now.
Oh God, don't know. It's like you think, okay, they've got good gimmicks with We the People. Why isn't We the People just a universal thing and you can just drop the Pro America thing and it works? People like chanting it. You've got a made gimmick, and it's not like it was Zeb Coulter's thing that he brought Jag Swagger into. So it's not like you're stealing off Swagger, and it's not like Swagger's barely on TV anyway. Why this Mex American thing? It's like, hey, we were racist against everyone else and we hated all the other nations. Now it's going to be two of us and we're going to hate every other nation. Oh, just so depressing.
I am interested in seeing who else they bring into that, because they almost have to, since they're forming their own country and they need bodies.
And there's no chemistry between the two either. It's just really bland, and it's like when you used to.
Oh no!
All right, Sean is gone again. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the Divas Championship match. Charlotte versus Nikki Bella. Charlotte defeated and retained the title. This got a holy shit moment. It was on the outside. Nikki Bella, I forget what move it was that she did, but the way Charlotte landed was very similar to how Kevin Owens power bombs people onto the edge of the apron. What was that move, Nick? Do you remember?
She did the Alabama Slam.
Ah, yeah, and it was awesome.
I do have issues with this match.
Yeah,
with that spot in particular.
Really? Go ahead.
Yeah, because nothing came of it. Like you specifically referenced Kevin Owens' powerbomb onto the apron. That's not just a match ender. That's at least temporarily a career ender.
Right.
Neville got sidelined from that. Sami Zayn got sidelined from that. There have been a few others. That move, the Alabama Slam onto the apron, it got a similar reaction. It should have a similar impact on the match and on the wrestler, but
true.
Not only
I'll give you that.
Did Charlotte go on, but she managed to put Nikki in the figure eight afterward. So, yeah, I just don't think the psychology was there.
Yeah,
like throughout the match, where Nikki was being put in the figure four the first time, and even after she turned it over and she reversed it, she was still going for the ropes as though to try and break it up. Overall, I think that was still a decent match, but you can tell, as much as Nikki's improved as a performer, she still doesn't have a grasp on psychology.
Yeah, she doesn't at all. I think you have to. It's one of those things that they may do before the Divas Revolution. They put the best person they had around, which was AJ Lee, and then she left, and then Paige came.
Oh man, I don't know what's going on with Sean's internet, but it's going to start getting annoying soon. All right. So, but yeah, Charlotte retains. Are you? I'm assuming you're okay with that.
Yes, I think that's what had to have happened. She just won it. She's still not being treated as an established talent yet. Like, even as champion, they still treat her like she's punching above her weight. and Nikki still hasn't reacted like, she's been beaten. She's still acting as though she's champ and top dog, despite the fact that she's lost to Charlotte multiple times.
Right.
So I think this is a necessary step. I think Charlotte had to retain. And I think we have to see some separation between the two. I imagine Charlotte's going to be facing Paige next. I don't know what Nikki will be focusing on. Maybe they'll focus on Team Bella versus Team Bad. Give those 6 divas something to do.
Sasha Banks versus anyone, please. I'll take that.
Yeah. I'll take Sasha Banks versus Rosa Mendes. Sasha could probably make that match pretty decent to watch.
In saying getting Nikki Bella better, because I believe that she could get better and better and better. It's just her sister that's just not getting it. I think that Nikki's actually got a grasp on it. She's getting better. Put Sasha versus Nikki Bella for a feud. Get them going, and then just have the other 2 from Team Bad and Team Bella on the ringside. You'll have a good match there. Why not?
Yeah.
Keep on building Nikki up.
I wish they'd done that, because I thought that was kind of the direction they were going at first, because before Charlotte started getting wins over Nikki, Sasha was doing it. Like, she was making Nikki tap out to the bank statement. So, yeah, you could absolutely start something up there.
A better idea is not have the Bellas there anymore and push Becky Lynch. Because Becky Lynch versus Sasha was one of the best NXT matches that we've seen. We need to see that feud on TV.
Yeah, okay. I didn't even think about that. And to be honest, I think Becky Lynch performed for the first time in quite a while on Raw last night. I hadn't actually seen her in a match in quite a few weeks. And she's good. Right. You forget how good she actually is.
Yeah.
And yes, I do agree, D Sharp. She's extremely hot. So, it makes me happy. I've got a thing for Irish girls. That's fine. Keep that going. But no, yeah, look, she'd be great against Sasha. Why not? But I don't know if you'll see it. There's no storyline plot to go with. At least with Nikki Bella or Brie Bella, they've got something to go off. But they could create something. I know that's scary to think, but they could create something.
The one thing that did surprise me, just because, after this match, we did have, Rollins versus Kane, Owens versus Ryback, Lesnar versus Undertaker. When you put all of those 4 matches together, the match you would have expected to be cut for time would have been this. But instead we got Kevin Owens versus Ryback getting the 5 minutes. This got a full this got a 10-minute match. So are you surprised that they gave the Divas that much time?
I was happy with it. I think the amount of time they got was fantastic. And D Sharp, you rock. I think that you should.
That's what you get. You get as soon as you start saying that. That's when you get cut off. Awesome. Just everyone on Mixler is aware of what's going on. Over on Blab, you can get I don't know, their applauses or
their props.
Props, yeah. So it's sorry, I turned my audio down. So it's basically like hearts over on Mixler, but you can give it to individual people. And right now, Sean and I are battling to get the most props. So, anyways, that's what we're talking about.
I'm getting held on by the man over here.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. Yes. Let's go ahead and move on to the next match, Seth Rollins versus Kane. Seth Rollins retains, and Demon Kane is Corporate Kane fired from Director of Operations. What's your thoughts on how, both on the match and where do you think this is going to lead to as far as Kane goes?
Have you seen Raw?
Well, go ahead, John.
Yeah, I was going to say, Garvin, have you seen Raw?
No.
Okay, well, that'll be explained for you. I don't know if we want to spoil that or not, but the match itself, I think Kane is still really good. I think that you still just need someone a little bit younger / fitter / probably a little bit smaller to keep up with Seth Rollins. He's just that kind of guy where you need someone who's fit enough to withstand it. But in saying that, you know, I still watch Kevin Owens, and he's a bigger guy, and he still blows me away every time he performs. So I don't know. I think Kane did a great job for his age. He's still a great performer and still very underrated. So, you know, but again, keeping up with the top of the line, not so much. I think he's a great enhancement talent or a great tag team. Like Team Hell No was great back in the day.
Yeah, I think the match itself was good. I am kind of disappointed that, you know, Corporate Kane didn't get a longer run because he's been really entertaining in the stint he's had with Rollins thus far. But it is time for a more serious opponent for Rollins, I think. We haven't been getting terribly serious opponents for him as of late. Like Sting felt like a throwaway. Cena, you know, it kind of pointed to Rollins uniting those two titles. And Kane, yeah, as good as he's been, it didn't feel like he had any chance of taking the title away from him. I think now that we've got who we've got in order to avoid spoilers for Raw, I think we're headed in the right direction there.
Yeah, it feels that way. It feels everything has been building up really well. And it was kind of interesting watching Raw. It was very much a retrospective of what we've seen post SummerSlam, post WrestleMania, and how it's built to this point and the stories they've been telling, because a lot of conclusions happened at Hell in a Cell. So I'm quite satisfied with it. Keep it going. Keep the progression. I'm stoked.
This match got close to 15 minutes. I thought this was a very good match. I was very happy with everything that took place. Yeah, so I was pretty good with this. Next up, Kevin Owens defeated Ryback in. We didn't even need this match to be honest. It was 5 minutes. It moved really quickly, and you know, I talked about this in the beginning. I was disappointed last week. I thought this would be the match of the night just based on what they had done before. But, you know, I don't know. Do you guys even want to talk about it? There's really nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
Hold on. It was the match of the night, wasn't it, Garvin?
It should have been.
No, it was. I watched it, and because I went back and watched it after to see the last hour, and yeah, not impressed at all. It looked like they were both frustrated. It looked like that Kevin Owens, and as he should, because he is, and he was going on the mantra that I am better than you. This is just a waste of time. And it really was. It was such a filler, and Owens deserves so much better. Ryback deserves so much worse. Go back to Superstars and Main Event and don't come back. I'm just not into him at all. Yep, I'm the certified Ryback hater of the Fans Talk podcast family. You will get that from me consistently because I'm not seeing any development from him apart from bad direction, which might be half his fault and half bad booking. No, thank you. Just, no, you've got enough big guys who do good enough. We don't need another Mark Henry. We don't need another Big Show. We don't need that. We need someone who can actually move around and not look weird and then start talking about energy. No, we don't need it. No thanks.
What about another Goldberg? Would you be
That's
okay
what
with
he tried to be. He tried to be that, and then suddenly WWE had to deal with Goldberg chants all the time, and then they freaked out because they're like, oh, we're actually recreating Goldberg here, and then they suddenly had to stop it. Oh God, they're going to remember that WrestleMania match between him and Lesnar. Oh God, this isn't good for the network. No, stop. Which was arguably one of the worst WrestleMania matches ever, I think. I can say that. Could I say that? Yeah, I think I can.
Yeah, that's fair.
So no thanks. Go home, Ryback. Go back to Vegas and read another book, and don't come back.
One longer than 8 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they'd had this match on Raw. Get that obligatory rematch out of the way, because it was never going to be a pay-per-view caliber match. We already established that the IC title is bottom of the heap, and I don't think anybody seriously thought that Ryback was going to take the belt away from Owens just 1 month after he won it. So it was throwaway. It served its purpose, filler match for the main event, but I wish it had been a title match against somebody else.
You might see Neville get an opportunity after this. That seems like a good fit for him to feud with Owens. And that would be good. They both can produce some good work, and it's got that good chemistry between the two. So let's do that.
Yeah, they can reference what went on in NXT. So, yeah, bonus background.
Which it's kind of the only other feud I can think of happening is Del Rio versus Cesaro. But anyway, we'll get to that. But that's what I see happening in the future.
Okay. And that leads us to the main event for WWE Hell in a Cell. It went 18 minutes. Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker in a Hell in a Cell match. Let's not talk about the end as far as what happened after the match yet, but thoughts on the match. And realistically, I don't remember. Was it you, Sean? I can't recall who said it in the live chat that we had for Hell in a Cell over with the Squared Circle of Trust. But they were like, over under 5 minutes of Brock Lesnar bleeding, and it was about a minute and a half.
It wasn't me.
I think it might have been beanbags. So yeah, overall, your thoughts on the match?
Thought-wise, going back to Taker blatantly bladed, okay. Which
those are fighting words, and you can't prove it.
Yeah, I can. I'll get the exact time and minute if I have to bring it back to you next week. It was there, which is fine. Like, it took him a while to finally get it, but he was blading. And the thing that confused me was like, okay, they're going to have blood. That's fine. It's a good time for the story. It's a climax. It's appropriate. They rarely do blood, apart from Brock Lesnar's forehead, which is just attracted to bleeding. But overall, it was a good idea. However, they were wiping down Lesnar, and they weren't wiping down Taker from blood. So don't know what happened there. But
Lesnar was opened up quite worse than Taker was.
No, but if they're gonna bleed, let them bleed. Come on. Like,
I think
remember the
visibility issue.
Maybe, yeah. But good time to do it. I think, in the PG times that it's in, they can barely do it. So, it was the best time to do it if you have to do it. And what are they going to do? Fire Taker for doing it? No, they're not going to do anything. It was a good match. It was, for his age, he did phenomenally well.
Yeah, this was one of his better matches from the last 5 years, I think. Certainly better than the mini match. I guess I wasn't paying too close attention to when they got opened up. I thought Taker got opened up when Lesnar took off his glove and started hammering away at him bare knuckle. Was there another spot?
Well, no, yeah. It was right when that happened. So basically, that's what I saw. But it was either like right before that or right after that. You had Taker fall to the ground, and he looked like he reached underneath the ring, and then he wiped his head, and then he put his hand back underneath the ring.
Oh, it was so obvious. Come on, like, he was selling and he was covering his head, and then he reaches, does a quick blading, and ta-da! Took a while, but the blood started coming, and it was fine. It wasn't too much. It wasn't like a Shawn Michaels Jericho blood bath, but it was good enough. It was enough to definitely give that dramatic effect, especially with the finish and everything else.
Yeah, I just assumed that Taker had Lesnar just potato him, and that was it. But yeah, it was excellent match. I think it went back and forth very well between the two guys. Yeah, just a good match. Good way to end the show.
Okay. Yeah, I really like this match. I think this was their best match so far. And yeah, this was one of the better pay-per-view main events that I can remember. Like, as far as like the last 4 or 5 years, I think this is like one of your better endings to a pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Endings to a pay-per-view. I'm just trying to think. Yeah. Rock versus Punk at Royal Rumble a few years ago was pretty good for an ending of a pay-per-view.
Sure. But I mean, like, you didn't have the screw job, you didn't have a dusty finish, you didn't have
it wasn't totally clean. It was a low blow into an F5 on a piece of the mat.
Well, true, but like, Paul Heyman didn't get involved, or someone else didn't get involved. It was the match that happened, and that to me made sense only because you had, like, that's what Taker did the last match.
Yeah, and this time, I mean, it was clean. That was permitted under the rules. Like when Taker did it, it absolutely wasn't.
Yeah.
When's the last time you've seen a disqualification to a low blow? How many times did Ric Flair do it in a standard match, just a normal single one-on-one match? He low blowed and actually got disqualified for it. Never happened.
Well, because he always did it behind the ref's back. He's the dirtiest player in the game, man.
Yeah.
It's not cheating. He has been caught, though. I've seen him being caught. I've seen him grab the eyes. Just no. You guys are jerks. You're being mean to me. Chat room, help me. I'm being bullied. WWE is against bullies. Rise against bullies.
Yeah, call Sheamus.
Yeah.
All right, so that's not necessarily how the pay-per-view ended, though. We did get the Wyatt family come down, and they attacked Taker, and they took Taker out. He was basically, put into that cross look, and they carried him off. So, yes, I did not watch Raw. We can go ahead and spoil it because we're going to talk about it. So I don't know if anything else happened on Raw to really carry the story from there. But to me, that looked to be not necessarily a send-off for The Undertaker, but a feud for him to go into Survivor Series, which they promoted is Undertaker's 25th Survivor Series, or not 25th Survivor Series, but 25th anniversary of when he debuted, and he would be there. So do you guys see the same way?
Okay. Firstly, yeah, I think that WWE should stop giving away what they're going to do the next month's pay-per-view, because it takes away from what they're currently watching. They've got 4 weeks to promote it. They don't need to start during the current pay-per-view. They can say the next pay-per-view is Survivor Series, but they don't need to go celebrating 25 years of Undertaker. Stupid move. Just doesn't make sense. Secondly, okay, the Jesus pose taking out, I thought, oh, awesome or not awesome, Undertaker's going to be one of the Wyatts. Like, this is a conversion thing, or like, because they're cultish sort of thing. But then on Raw, Garvin, so Kane interrupted a promo, and basically the Wyatts set a trap for Kane to get beat down and got taken out in the Jesus pose as well.
Nice.
So it looks like that's going to be the Survivor Series match. You're going to have Team Wyatt, or the Wyatt family, versus Team Taker, which then opens up great possibilities for who's going to fill those spots in Team Taker. So you've got Undertaker and Kane, which is great for Taker because he doesn't have to risk much, in that elimination match.
Just flow. Yeah, so I don't know. Sean, you dropped again. So I like it. I like the idea of, the Brothers of Destruction getting back together to compete against the Wyatts. Now you have 4 Wyatt family members, so that does fit the team. But yeah, like Sean was saying, like who do you fit into Team Taker? Because there really isn't those other faces to put in there, or people that carry that same kind of historical value. So, Nick, what do you think? Who do you see them putting into that spot?
I don't really know, but I'm not terribly worried about them filling those spots because, they haven't really put much effort into composing that face team. Like when Cena is leading a team, it's just an assortment of random faces, essentially. Yeah, some of them got screwed over by the Authority, and others are just friends with Cena, but they don't focus that much on team composition, not like the way they do with the heel side. We've had Team Authority in the past. This time we're getting Team Wyatt. But I don't see Taker and Kane forming the core for their opponents. I'm seeing them get converted into part of Team Wyatt.
No.
Well,
it's not going to sell.
The way they played that off, when Wyatt explained what he was doing with Taker, he talked about consuming the Undertaker's soul and how, once you get a taste of that sort of power, you get addicted and you need more. And so he set the trap for Kane. I don't really see anything else coming of that unless, they've got Taker and Kane someplace. They're applying the Revolution treatment and, they're brainwashing them.
Okay.
It's not the most insane thing that WWE has done.
I just don't see that for his 25th anniversary, for one. Two, you're ruining my fantasy of having all like supernatural characters for the Team Taker. You could have, ideal for me would be Taker, Kane, Sting, Finn Balor.
Ooh, yeah. Sting is a name being thrown out in the live chat over on Blab. It's just not logical because Sting is hurt. Lesnar is another name being thrown out, and I cannot.
His
dates are done for the year. He's not due back until the next of the year. So unless he's
against Sting versus Taker, like Taker and Kane are prisoners of the Wyatt. Bray makes them fight on his team, and Sting decides that he's going to go in and rescue them, and he puts together a team. Dudes of Attitude 3.0 or something. I don't know.
But with Sting is like the manager.
Sting's out. There's no way he'll be back after that injury.
That could work. In the scenario I'm putting together in my head, Bray wouldn't be on that team. It'd be the Brothers of Destruction and then Harper, Rowan, and Strowman.
Mm-hmm. But it's 4-on-4, isn't it?
They've had 4-on-4 and they've had 5-on-5.
Okay. Oh, that's okay then. But I just don't see for a 25th anniversary for Taker. You want to have Taker being Taker, and you want to see him come out wearing his old school gear, and I think that's what they'll do. He'll wear like the same outfit that he wore on his debut, which would be so cool. And they could go one better, and they could have Paul Bearer's son, who looks so much like Paul Bearer, sounds like Paul Bearer, holding an urn coming out, and they could do a full nostalgia hit. Everyone would be really happy.
I mean, the scenario that I'm envisioning is, I keep going back to TNA for this. It's sort of like when Sting brought Hogan back into the light, turned him away from Immortal and broke that all up.
Yeah.
Maybe Sting and Taker have a face-to-face in the middle of the ring. Like Wyatt's team is on the losing end, and I don't know. The brainwashing loses hold. The urn gets brought out or something. And then Sting or Taker and Kane turn on the Wyatts, and good wins the day and whatever.
So some other names being thrown out, and I think they're just hilarious. Taker and Kane, Boogeyman.
Boogeyman does still wrestle.
And Gangrel. So that's your one team.
Gangrel does still wrestle.
He does.
He does. This is over on the Blab side. Henry Potter is saying fake Taker comes back. So you got fake Taker. Just think about this. Think about how this would look, right? Watch. So you got Taker. You got fake Taker. you got Kane, Demon Kane, and Corporate Kane.
Oh my god!
And no, let's keep this going. And Big Red Machine came, and RoboCop for Sting, and what was it? There was the egg, and the chicken or whatever it was. Yeah, we got that too. And this can all be part of Team Taker. And what else have we got? You got to have the full brood, like the fangs, the blood, the red mist, and I missed that end.
Yeah, and we can't forget Dr. Yankum DDS. You can also throw him in there.
This is where you bring back Mordecai. Kayfabe News would be so happy.
Oh, man. Yeah, that would be great. So thank you, everyone, in the live chat, both on Mixler and Blab. I love all of those ideas. But, yeah, that was basically WWE Hell in a Cell. It was a good pay-per-view. I mean, yes, obviously there were things to be a little bit disappointed in, but overall, on the grand scheme of things, this was a very entertaining show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I definitely would not disagree with that.
That led us to Raw. So I obviously you guys have made it clear that I did not watch Raw. So tell me about it. What was the best thing that happened this week on Raw, basically as a follow-up to Hell in a Cell?
Okay. Brief overview for you, Garvin. They had a during the night tournament of all the winners from Hell in a Cell to fight it out against each other to then earn an opportunity for a fatal four-way for the main event of Raw to become the number one contender for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. You had in that match, you had Dolph Ziggler, Alberto Del Rio, Roman Reigns, and Kevin Owens, which was fantastic. They actually did a main event, and it was good. They had four guys who were really going really well, and Kevin Owens stole the show for sure.
Yeah, I'm still disappointed that Owens took the pin on that. I kind of wish that the only one without a title would have gotten the pin. But, yeah, it was a great main event. This is the first good Raw in a while, I feel like.
Oh, yeah. This was a good Raw. Like, you would watch this, Garvin, and go, hey, I'm not, like, it doesn't feel like razor blades are being scraped across my skin. This is actually really enjoyable. There wasn't a moment where I thought this is boring, which is the first time in a 3-hour Raw in at least 2 years.
So are you saying it was worth watching the entire 3 hours?
Yep.
I don't believe you guys. You guys are just pulling my leg.
I mean, the
RoboCop came out once. You know,
the beginning of Raw was kind of misleading because it did kick off with an Authority promo, but you know they came back from that. The qualifying matches were all pretty excellent. Still pretty disappointed that not one member of the New Day went into the qualifying match or into the final match, but you know they did well for themselves. They acquitted themselves well. Unicorn Magic was pretty strong. They had a losers bracket match with Ryback in the double versus Sheamus and Rusev, and even that wasn't bad. So, yeah, the biggest letdown of the whole show was the San Diego crowd, and Jill specifically requested that I talk about this early on. So, yeah, that crowd was awful. I don't think they understand the concept of cheering. Wrestling is not an elementary school. You don't bring enough for everyone. That's not how this works. Because they cheered for Team PCB coming out. They cheered for Team Bella coming out. They cheered for Brie going into Brie mode. They chanted, "We want Becky," and then proceeded to cheer for Paige when Paige beat her down when she turned heel. And then they cheered for Paige putting Charlotte into the PTO, standing over her and screaming, "This is my house." So, I don't understand the rationale behind that. Pick a freaking side.
No, that was the point.
Yeah, and the other thing to think about is, you know, this is our main problem with the Divas division is that, you know, I mean, I'm with you. you do have to choose sides as a fan, but at the same time, like, it's really hard to determine what that side is supposed to be, what WWE is trying to get you to back and not back. And so I don't know, maybe that was just like a troll, like a group trolling effect to just show that we have no idea who to back in the Divas division.
Except this was all throughout the show. Like, Kevin Owens constantly getting cheered, and they cheered for everybody else too. They cheered for everybody in that final match. It was a good match, but Kevin Owens is obviously a heel. Ziggler is still a fan favorite for whatever reason. Reigns was very over with that crowd.
Yeah.
Del Rio had a strong showing of support from at least parts of the crowd. So I don't get it. So
what's better to you? I mean, not to harp on this. I know we're going kind of long, but like, what's better for you then? A crowd that sits on their hands all night, or a crowd that's super loud and loves everyone?
I'd rather have a silent crowd, to be honest, because at least then I can focus on what's going on in the ring. I'm not getting distracted by what are these idiots chanting for now? Are they chanting for the Cotton Candy Man now? I'm surprised they haven't started chanting for people on commentary. Which was another thing that kind of bugged me. JBL and Cole were ripping on Byron, especially fierce last night. And that doesn't bother me normally, but it's just, why are Cole and JBL agreeing on just one thing, and that thing is Byron sucks? I don't get it. They're sniping at each other the rest of the show, so that, I don't know. That I realize you tune out commentary, so you probably had no idea that this even goes on. But
I tune out Raw, so whatever. All right, so that was Raw. We are on, officially we're on the road to Survivor Series, but that's not the only thing that we are on the road to. We're also on the road to the Royal Rumble. Real quick, just a reminder, we are, those who are watching Blab can see this. You can at least see me, because Nick's not on webcam because his internet sucks. But
yep,
we're just regular guys. We have day jobs. We can't necessarily afford proper internet in Nick's case. But, we basically pay a lot of the cost of this podcast and all the other podcast series that we do out of pocket. So, if you like what you hear, please take a moment, support the content that we have here on Fans Talk by becoming a member of the Squared Circle of Trust today. You go to fanstalkpodcast.com, click the big green button, and pledge just a cup of coffee our way. A cup of coffee a month. We're talking like $1 to $15 to whatever you feel is appropriate for what we're doing and what you want to support. It would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Nick, I feel like we've pretty much did our win and fail of the night during our talk of Hell in a Cell. So I think we should skip that. You agree?
Yeah, I think you guys have a pretty good idea of what my fails were.
Yeah. Sean's internet is really dumb right now, but Sean wanted to. Yeah, he wanted to basically promote a new project that he's going to be doing with us here at the Fans Talk podcast family. We are on the road to Royal Rumble officially. This week, we're going to take a look at where the Royal Rumble is and do a little of our own fantasy booking on a new show called Fans Talk Fantasy Booking. It's going to be hosted by Sean. Nick, you are going to be joining. So yeah, definitely take a look for that. It's going to be available on the feed. I think it's going to be a monthly feature, so definitely check it out. It'll be over at fanstalkpodcast.com. So with that, let's go ahead and just do our final thoughts and close up tonight's conversation. Just a reminder, We record just about every episode of FTPW live on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Those who have joined us on Blab, thank you so much for being here. Everyone on Mixler, you guys are always awesome. Hashtag live chat hooligans. I haven't seen that in a while. But yeah, you guys are always great too. Definitely loved our little conversation about Undertaker and Kane. So yeah, definitely join us if you can. And yeah, anything else you want to say before we head out, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of you guys already do, but keep your ears tuned to Fans Talk TNA. If you've listened, you'll know we're shuffling things around. We're going to be trying out new things going forward. Just trying to, get it to a balance point and see where we go from there. So, yeah, if you haven't heard it before, check it out. If you enjoy TNA, this will be for you. We basically reviewed the week that was in TNA, which has been kind of one track of late with the World Title Series.
Right.
But, things might change as we move forward. We get to the round of 16 and talent starts getting freed up for other things. So, just check it out.
Yeah. Yeah, Fans Talk TNA is recorded usually on Thursdays, so we watch Impact on Wednesdays and then get together on Thursdays to record. It's usually released that night as well. So this series, as well as the rest of the podcast released through fanstalkpodcast.com, are supported exclusively by our Patreon subscribers. You can subscribe today for as little as $1 a month to receive early access to our content as well as exclusive content. For Nick, I'm Garvin. For Sean as well, I'm sure he might be listening right now. Thank you, everyone who is listening, and we look forward to talking to you again next week. We'll see you next Tuesday. Fans Talk Pro Wrestling is part of the Fans Talk Podcast family. It can be found at fanstalkprowrestling.com. The Fans Talk Podcast family is a subsidiary of Tigar Creative, LLC. Later.